So the running quarterbacks that have kind of taken over the league a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, is this something that's here to stay? Do you think, or is this something you ever see everything kind of goes in waves? Do you ever see it going back to being pocket passers, or is this here to stay?
I mean, like you said, everything goes in waves. I can't predict the future, so I don't know. I hope there's not 32 Lamar Jacksons in 10 years. Actually, I do, because I'll be watching football in 10 years, so that'll be exciting.
Joe, you know who number 57 is?
Who? On our team?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about their team. Adams? What? I don't know. I don't know who's. There's new guys, new numbers. What? Who's 57?
You were right. It's Zach. Yes.
Okay, that's what I think.
That was the process like for meeting a guy that jumps on the moving train. As Tom likes to say.
Yeah, I mean, the train's moving. You got better grab on. Have a strong grip.
Joe, how do you view what happened last Sunday? As you guys started to
Yeah, I mean, just from a football playing level, it's unacceptable, and that was made known, obviously, in meetings, and we got to come buckle up, chin straps, ready to work, and another AFC North opponent this week, and prove ourselves to ourselves.
How was practice today?
It was good. A lot of fun. A lot of people flying around, hitting, pads are popping, so it was a good day of practice.
What about your history with Jackson when you were in Cleveland? I don't know if you played him last year in Jacksonville, but what did you notice about him, and did you have success?
Yeah, I think I played him in Cleveland. I played him last year in Jacksonville. I mean, he's one of a kind. Like I said earlier, there's nobody else in the NFL who really comes close to his skill set, and he's got a very specific skill set, and their offense is catered to him, and they do a good job running the football, play action passes, and he can get the ball out there to his weapons. So it's just going to be about containing him in the pocket, not letting him extend plays, because that's when he's really dangerous, and that's when the receivers are really dangerous.
We were talking today just about the tradition of the Steelers way, all of that. You've been in a couple different organizations and locker rooms. How is it different here? I mean, when you come in, do they tell you, hey, we're not playing music in the locker room because of this reason or that?
No, I mean, there's music in the locker room a lot. The tradition speaks for itself. When you walk upstairs to the meeting rooms, there's 6 Lombardi trophies in a trophy case right there. I mean, you walk by that every day. You walk by the team pictures of the guys who did it, and that's who built the franchise, and that's who you're carrying their legacy on now. And there's a certain level of, well, I would say respect for them, but you have to play well to uphold that tradition.
Have you heard any of those guys in the media the last couple of days?
No, I don't follow pretty much anything in the media.
Rocky Blyer, Ryan Clark, being pretty critical of the current team.
Well, that's them. I don't follow really anything in the media, especially during the season, because it doesn't do you any good in the locker room. No offense. So the train, I couldn't quite hear it. Yeah.
Do you worry about effort? When you look at the tape from last Sunday, was there a concern about the effort of guys? And if not, then how do you explain sort of the one-sidedness of the way things went?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to look at themselves in the mirror. I'm not going to comment on anybody else's play. I'm going to comment on my play. I look at myself in the mirror, and there's things that we can all get better at from the game tape. And Coach Tomlin, to a man, made sure everybody knew it on Monday, and I think guys are really stepping up to the challenge. I mean, you're going to face adversity during the football season, and it's about how you respond to it. The best team in the AFC, the Ravens, they got 3 losses. Everybody else is 4. We have 5. We're right in the thick of things if we can do our jobs and turn around and win football games.
So were there guys who were louder than others in the team meeting that stood out and said, hey, these things have to change this week?
Yeah, Coach Tomlin was very loud. I mean, Cam Hayward always going to be talking. I mean, T.J. Watt obviously wasn't in the meetings, but during the games talking loud, making himself known. There's a lot of leaders on the team, but Coach Tomlin pretty much took the floor for our meetings this week.
Have you talked to TJ? How is he doing?
Huh?
Have you talked to TJ and how's he doing?
I haven't talked to him since he left yesterday. Probably shoot him a text, make sure he's feeling healthy and not too bad, not too under the weather. But
Joe, you guys really struggled against the run in the last 3 games. Now you're going against one of the best running teams in the NFL. How much can change in a week to turn those results?
Yeah, I mean, you buckle your chin straps and come up and start hitting people on Sunday. I think it can change real fast. So I think that's the attitude of the team and the defense especially, and we'll see the results on Sunday.
Chris, when you were with Baltimore, was there a certain mystique to the Steelers that they're not a team that you can punch in the mouth and kind of beat them the way you guys took it on Sunday or anything like that?
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I think every time we played them twice a year when I was there for 3 years, and We always knew it was going to be a challenge. We always knew they were a tough team physically, especially on the offense side of the ball. And obviously their defense was who they were. So yeah, we knew that it was going to be one of those games that we had to win, and that's how it is this week on the other side of the ball. On the other side of, I'll play for the Steelers.
There's been a lot made of the Steeler way and the traditions of the organization. When you came in, what were you kind of told about things that are valued here and things that you want to uphold, looking at just the history of the organization as a whole?
The standard is a standard, like Mike T talks about all the time. For me as a defensive guy, that rough and tough defense that I grew up watching. So when I came in, I knew that was the standard, and each week, me personally, I try and uphold that.
Is there more pressure here, maybe, than in other organizations like the Ravens that you've been in to uphold this long history and things that they've done in the past?
I think every team that you play for has a certain, type of tradition. The Ravens had theirs. They're a great organization from, a 25-year standpoint, not a 75-year like the Steelers is. But I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to have their own traditions. Everyone's going to try and uphold what the head coach, what the owner is trying to accomplish. So I think it's different on every team, but also the traditions there's a tradition on each team that you play for.
Playing with and against Lamar, what you have a better appreciation of kind of what makes him go, and do you have any insight on maybe ways to defend him?
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier to play with him than try and tackle him and sack him and things like that. Obviously, he's a dynamic player. But in camp when we would go against, team 1-versus-1s, we would always have to stay away from him. So it wasn't the hardest task. So the flip side, it's going to be a little harder to when he's going full speed and we're going full speed to try and tackle him and not get shook out of your boots.
How was Ray's Lamar impression today?
It was good. I don't know if you guys had saw. He kind of scrambled, went through some of the guys that weren't even in, and then threw a bomb. So I was surprised at his arm talent, but it looked good, and it's given us a good look. I think a little better than Mason and Dwayne are giving us this week as far as the athletic run around a feel of it.
Was Mike Tomlin any different talking to you guys after that Bengal game than what you would have expected based on how long you've been here?
No, we got our butts whooped. I think everyone knew that. Anytime you lose by that much in that fashion, it's nice to have someone kind of get in your butt a little bit. I think a guy like me, I kind of appreciate a coach who takes things seriously, and that's what he did. And I think today we had a good practice, and we're just trying to carry that message for the rest of the week and for the rest of the season.
Controlled by the time Tuesday rolls around and he talks to us. Would you say he gets emotional, loud?
No, I think his tone is the same. I think as a player and as a man, you kind of understand the situation and understand what he's trying to accomplish for this week, and that's to beat the Ravens. And if that means he's got to, fire us up a little bit, especially after Sunday's loss, that's what he's going to have to do.
Chris, you were in Baltimore that Lamar's rookie year. You had Joe Flacco as your quarterback, and they make the change to Lamar. Stylistically, they couldn't be any more different.
Right.
When you saw that going against them in practice, could you see the difference just in the offense, the way it kind of carried itself, knowing that they had that trump card?
Yeah, I remember we used to use Lamar even when Joe was still the starter before he got hurt early in the season, and you could see what Lamar was capable of doing. Obviously, he won a Heisman and what he did in college. But yeah, it was exciting to watch him run around, make our defense look bad, and the type of player that he is today, I could see glimpses of that his rookie year for sure.
What are some of the issues you need to address?
I could just speak on the defensive side of the ball, and more specifically, defensive line is just stopping the run. That's what they do best. When you have a guy like Lamar, who can not only he's a great passer, but also can run the ball for good chunks of yards. They have two really good backs. That's going to be our biggest focus. There's a couple reasons. It's the next game. We're coming off of not winning a game for 3 weeks. It's a division game, and we only have 6 games left. And if we want to make the playoffs, and that's our goal, we're going to have to win almost every game. So this is the next one, and I think at the end of the day, you want to beat your rival. You want to beat your in-division opponent as well.
You and Joe each have talked about this being a good practice, a good start to the week. What defines that? What makes, in your eyes, a good
good practice?
I think the intensity is just a little raised. Obviously, we're playing a rival game. We have pads on today, so you can kind of get a feel of different schemes more so than just kind of putting your hands on somebody without pads, especially on the offensive side of the ball. D-line versus O-line, the scout team. So just the flow of practice seemed like it was a little more energy, a little more fast-paced to get the job done on Sunday.
Got a new face in the D-line room, Montravis, skipped right over the practice squad onto the active roster, and said something to us. At least you guys getting him ready to play Sunday?
Yeah. He's been here for maybe 6 hours, with us in meetings and things like that. But Montravis is a good player. I actually trained with him during combine training, almost 5 years ago now. So we have some familiarity. I know the type of player he is. I'm excited for him to get into the playbook a little more, get into what we do as a D-line, and contribute as fast as possible.
Is he a nose, Chris?
I think that's what he was playing today. I don't know if you guys were looking at that at all, but I think he's one of those guys that could play nose and 3-tech. He's pretty versatile.
Chris, Mike said the other day that the changes might come by not relying on depth as much on defense. Does that mean that you anticipate you getting more snaps and going with the original 3 rather than shifting guys in and out of the lineup on the defensive line? Yeah,
I think in games like this, you kind of rely on your starters a little more. You rely on the guys that you can trust a little more so than a quote unquote backup, which is what I was, before Tyson and Tua got hurt. So I understand what he's talking about, but I also understand the role that I'm going to play this week in trying to beat the Ravens.
Al Villanueva over there now. You played with him last year. I guess you faced him for a long time.
Right.
Teammates for 1 year. What can you kind of say about him and the job he's doing? What you've seen so far?
Yeah, it looks like he's playing well there. I mean, he obviously was a great player for the Steelers for so long, and going to a divisional rival like I did a couple years ago is a little odd. But he's been playing good for him, and I'm excited to see him after the game. But I think Cam and Highsmith are going to take the brunt of the reps against him, so it'll be fun.